Is Angel Reese's biggest rivalry about to cost her millions? The basketball world is buzzing with rumors that her long-standing beef with Caitlin Clark has taken a shocking turn, one that could land her in the middle of a multi-million-dollar legal battle. What started as playful trash talk might now be spiraling into the most explosive controversy the WNBA has ever seen, and the fallout could change both players' careers forever. And the craziest part, some say it all really started with a clip from just a month ago, one that's now coming back to light.
Caitlin Clark points out the no call, then she applies a hard foul on Reese. Reese gets up right away to get in.
People thought the Angel Reese versus Caitlin Clark rivalry was just good sports entertainment, but the whispers coming out now are on a whole other level. It's no longer about who can put up more points or pull in more fans. It's about whether one of the WNBA's most polarizing players is staring down a legal nightmare. Multiple rumor mills are spinning the same wild story that Angel Reese could be slapped with a multi-million-dollar lawsuit over how far this feud has gone. Whether these claims are exaggerated or rooted in something real, they've already ignited the biggest debate in women's basketball this season. But that's not all. The more people talk, the messier it gets. Fans aren't just picking sides anymore. They're throwing gasoline on the fire, digging up old clips, and connecting dots that may or may not even be there. It's a storm of speculation that's turned a sports rivalry into something way darker. And if even a fraction of these rumors turn out to be true, Reese could find herself fighting not just for her reputation, but for her financial future. The big rumor floating around is that Angel Reese has somehow crossed a line that isn't just about competition, it's about liability. Whispers say her actions, comments, and the ongoing public tension with Caitlin Clark have allegedly created grounds for some kind of civil claim. Of course, nobody's filing paperwork publicly yet, which makes it all the more dangerous for Reese. Because in the court of public opinion, rumors spread much faster than truth, the number being thrown around. Multi-million-dollar damages, enough to rattle any athlete's career stability. Here's what makes it stick. What makes it stick in people's minds is that the WNBA has never really had a public feud escalate to this point. We've seen trash talk, elbows, and online trolling before, but an actual lawsuit tied to on-court drama, that's the kind of headline you usually see in pro wrestling storylines, not real life. Yet here we are, with sports blogs, YouTubers, and even mainstream outlets picking up bits and pieces of this unconfirmed legal buzz. And the more it circulates, the more it overshadows every other part of Reese's season. To understand how things spiraled this far, you've got to go back to where it all started. That NCAA championship game. Angel Reese, then at LSU, made headlines worldwide when she taunted Caitlin Clark in those final moments, pointing to her ring finger in a way that instantly became meme-worthy. For her supporters, it was the ultimate display of confidence. For her critics, it was arrogance turned up to 11. That moment planted the seeds of a rivalry that would follow both players into the pros. But listen to this. What could have been a one-time viral clip turned into a defining storyline for the WNBA. The league leaned into it for marketing, the media replayed the footage endlessly, and fans from both sides became deeply invested in the drama. But when a rivalry becomes a player's brand, it's hard to step back. And in Reese's case, it seems like each new chapter has only gotten louder, sharper, and more personal. Once Reese and Clark both entered the WNBA, it was clear this wasn't going to fade away. From their first matchups, there was a certain edge to every possession, every post-game interview, every crowd reaction. You could feel the tension even if you weren't looking for it. And while Clark generally kept things polite in public, Reese never shied away from turning up the heat. That gave the rivalry an unbalanced energy. One player letting her game do the talking, the other feeding off the hype. It gets worse. This dynamic made for must-watch TV, but it also meant that every foul, every glance, and every quote was dissected under a microscope. Fans started to wonder if this was about basketball anymore, or if it had crossed into something more personal. And when competition starts feeling like a grudge match, things can escalate in unpredictable, and sometimes dangerous ways. When Angel Reese signed her high-profile endorsement deal with Reebok, it looked like she was on track to become one of the most marketable athletes in women's sports. But that bold, unapologetic public persona, the same one that brands initially loved, has now started to backfire. Some fans feel her focus has shifted away from performance and toward building a bad girl image. And when Caitlin Clark's clean-cut, record-breaking brand is pulling in national commercials, the comparison makes Reese look less like a competitor and more like a headline chaser. The reason this is happening, that's where the lawsuit rumors really start to sting. Brands don't want to be attached to legal drama, even if it's just speculation. The second corporate sponsors smell controversy, they start calculating risk, and whispers of multi-million-dollar damages make that risk feel sky-high. If companies believe Reese's image is sliding from fierce competitor to potential liability, they won't hesitate to quietly distance themselves, something that could cost her far more than any court battle. The breaking point, according to online sleuths, came during a heated post-game exchange that was caught by multiple cameras. Depending on who you ask, it was either harmless trash talk or an aggressive personal jab that crossed a line. Clips started spreading on social media within minutes, and within 24 hours, lawsuit and defamation were already trending alongside Reese's name. The footage became a Rorschach test. Fans saw what they wanted to see, but the controversy it stirred up was undeniable. It gets crazier. Even if no formal complaint has been filed, the perception that Reese went too far is enough to plant the seed for speculation. Sports rivalries thrive on tension, but the moment that tension is perceived as targeted harassment or reputation damage, it stops being just part of the game. Whether real lawyers are involved yet or not, the fact that this conversation has even started shows just how volatile the Reese-Clark rivalry has become. Sponsorship deals can be a blessing or a curse, and right now, they're a minefield for Angel Reese. Reebok is still officially in her corner, but insiders claim other potential partners are suddenly reviewing contracts. It's not about guilt or innocence. It's about the optics. For companies investing millions, image is everything, and attaching your brand to a player surrounded by legal rumors can feel like signing your own PR disaster. Here's the thing though, in a league where sponsorships are often worth more than salaries, this kind of tension is no small issue. Even a short-term pause in deals could mean a massive financial hit, not to mention the long-term damage to her personal brand. And the irony is, this rivalry was originally one of her strongest selling points. Now it's being treated like a potential liability. If the courts haven't gotten involved yet, social media definitely has. Every tweet, every meme, every slow-motion replay of the Reese-Clark rivalry is fueling this fire. What might have been a small spark on the court becomes a 5-alarm blaze online, where rumors morph into facts in a matter of hours. And once the narrative sticks, it's nearly impossible to change. But here's what's scary. The danger for Reese is that the internet doesn't care about context. It cares about clicks. The more outrageous a claim sounds, the faster it spreads. That's why you see people talking about multi-million-dollar lawsuits, even when no legal paperwork exists yet. And because Caitlin Clark rarely engages in this back and forth, the online conversation ends up looking one-sided, painting Reese as the aggressor. While Angel Reese thrives in the spotlight, Caitlin Clark has taken the opposite route. She doesn't respond to every jab, avoids fueling online drama, and lets her on-court performances do the talking. That approach has made her a media darling and an advertiser's dream. She's seen as safe, which in the sponsorship world translates to profitable. What makes this worse for Reese? The contrast between the two couldn't be sharper, and it's a big reason why public perception tilts in Clark's favor during controversies. When Reese is loud, Clark stays calm. When Reese is trending for drama, Clark is trending for breaking records. This imbalance in image makes it much easier for rumors to stick to Reese, and much harder for her to shake them off. The WNBA fanbase has always been passionate, but the Reese-Clark rivalry has split it into two hostile camps. On one side are the diehard Reese supporters who see her as unapologetically authentic and believe she's being unfairly targeted. On the other side are Clark's defenders, who think Reese's antics have gone too far and that she's brought this legal trouble on herself. But listen to this. This split isn't just in comment sections. It's showing up in ticket sales, jersey purchases, and even how games are marketed. For the league, that's a double-edged sword. Rivalries drive interest, but too much toxicity can turn casual fans away. And if the lawsuit rumors keep growing, that toxicity might overshadow the basketball entirely. Even without concrete proof of a lawsuit, sports law experts have started chiming in. Some note that while trash talk is common in professional sports, there's a fine line between competitive banter and statements that could be seen as defamatory. If someone can argue that a player's words or actions have caused measurable damage to their reputation or earning potential, that's when the courtroom starts looking like a real possibility. Here's what's terrifying. One sports attorney even compared the situation to high-profile defamation cases in entertainment, where public figures have sued over damaging narratives. The catch: in most cases, these lawsuits are hard to win, but they can be costly to fight. For Reese, even a drawn-out legal battle that she ultimately wins could drain resources, disrupt her season, and make her name synonymous with courtroom drama instead of basketball excellence. The multi-million-dollar number being thrown around isn't random. It's tied to speculation about lost sponsorship deals, potential damages for reputational harm, and legal fees that could stack up if the situation escalates. In the WNBA, where even star players earn a fraction of NBA salaries, A financial hit of that scale could be career-altering. But that's not all. It's not just about the money Reese might have to pay out. It's about the money she might never make if brands decide she's too risky. Every week the controversy drags on is another week where potential partnerships are being delayed or canceled. And when your brand value is one of your biggest assets, that kind of freeze-out can do lasting damage. If you thought the on-court drama was intense, the media coverage has taken it to a whole new level. Sports blogs, YouTube channels, and even mainstream outlets have latched onto the Reese versus Clark narrative because it drives views, clicks, and engagement. Every small interaction is magnified, dissected, and spun into the next big headline. Here's the problem. For Reese, this is a double-edged sword. On one hand, she's one of the most talked-about athletes in the league, which can keep her relevant. On the other, the more her name is tied to legal rumors and controversy, the harder it becomes to shift the conversation back to her game. The media's appetite for drama means this story isn't dying anytime soon, especially with rumors of lawyers and millions on the line. The WNBA has been trying to grow its audience, and rivalries like Reese versus Clark have undeniably brought in new viewers. But the league has to walk a fine line between healthy competition and toxic drama that overshadows the sport. If the lawsuit rumors explode into a full-blown legal battle, it could become a PR headache for the entire organization. But here's the twist. On the flip side, controversy has always been a driver of attention in professional sports. Some insiders believe that even bad press could boost ratings, at least in the short term. The real question is whether the WNBA can harness the attention without letting the negativity define its brand. Right now, everything about this alleged lawsuit exists in the world of whispers, speculation, and viral conversation. No one outside of the rumor mill seems to have concrete evidence, but in 2025, perception is reality, and the perception is that Angel Reese is in trouble. Whether that trouble is legal, financial, or just reputational remains to be seen. So here's the big question. Is this the inevitable crash of a player who built her brand on controversy, or is it just another chapter in a rivalry that's as much about headlines as it is about basketball? One thing's for sure, the next time Reese and Clark face off, the cameras won't just be watching the scoreboard. They'll be watching for the spark that could set off the next round of drama.